Hi coffee lovers. Today we are going through the tune-up kit for the Pasquini Livietta. Things that are included in the tune-up kit is your brew head gasket, screen, a shower head gasket, and some keffiza. And we're going to go through installing it today. One of the great things about these little semi-automatic machines is that we can flip these machines upside down and get a good view down on the brew head itself. And in order to do that, we need to remove all the accessories first. So I took off the portafilter and we'll be soaking the basket in the keffiza in a little bit. I took out the drip tray and the grate, the water tank lid, and the water tank itself. And other than that, I think we are good to flip this machine upside down. There is a water tank manifold down here that can get a little bit of water in there, not too much, but just a little bit. So if you see a little bit of water, it's no big deal. I also like to use a couple towels to set the machine down on so it doesn't scratch the nice stainless steel cup warmer rails here. So it's not too heavy. It's a pretty easy flip to do. Some machines are harder to flip than others. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it here. If you don't feel comfortable with it, go ahead and find someone in your home to help you out with. There we go. It's looking pretty good. I'm going to scoot it back here so I can get a better view of it. There we go. Now, as you can see, you would just have a really clear shot at our brew head. This is how all the techs do it here at Seattle Coffee Gear when they're doing a tune-up. And yeah, you can just get a really good view, and it's a lot easier than getting down and looking up. So the first thing we got here is a Phillips screw. So you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver to get that first screw out. And a number of things are going to come out. It's kind of a long screw, but once you get this thing all the way unscrewed, a number of things are going to come out, including your screen, but you're also going to have this diffuser, and that is one of the things that we want to be soaking. So there we go, we got that. And now if you can just get the screw free from the diffuser here, it's also sometimes it can kind of thread into the plastic. So as you can see, I'm kind of pushing and undoing this screw at the same time to get it free from the diffuser. It really threads into the rest of the brew head down here, but it can actually have a tendency to thread into the plastic as well. Okay, so we get this free. And our screen and screw are being replaced in the kit, so we don't need to soak those. You can. There are a number of customers who do that, but that will be replaced in your kit. So I have our diffuser in here. It's all ready to go. Let me see. That's the only thing we're going to want to soak in there other than the basket. And we'll just get that going right now and then do the rest of the tune-up. So I'm going to do our basket too, just because we can. It's a good time to do it. And then I'm going to get the keffiza that's in our tune-up kit and put that in here and just let it soak while I'm doing the rest of this tune-up. That will make it just very, very easy. All right, do that. And I got some warm water here. We're just gonna let this soak while we're doing the whole tune-up. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's head back to the brew head here. As you can see, there's a black gasket around the edge. And also, look how dirty this brew head is. There's coffee everywhere. This machine in particular is in big need of a tune-up. So I'm actually just going around right now and exposing this gasket, this first one that we're going to be replacing. I think this one is called the shower screen seal is the actual name of this gasket. It's not your brew head gasket, but it's doing something very similar. And what I'm doing right now is just getting an awl and going around the outside of this and trying to free it. And then we'll do the same thing with the brew head gasket. And then we'll clean out the whole brew head. And then we'll put our new gaskets in. This gasket is really beat up. All the acids from the coffee have really done a number on it. So I got it free. And now it broke, which is fine, totally normal. These things get hard and brittle over time. A vacuum is very beneficial in this scenario because you can see there are just coffee grounds everywhere. Okay, we got that one free, and now it's time for the harder one. We have a brew head gasket around the outside edge. Now this brew head gasket was redesigned at a certain point. Now it's kind of this silicone red color. The one that's in here right now is black. So don't worry about that. They just changed the material at some point. Looks like this brew head gasket is pretty old. So it's really flat. Some gaskets have spots on the edges where you can get an awl in there and scoop it out. This one does not. So, you know, what you kind of have to do is either the outside or inside edge of the gasket while it's in there. You want to work around the edge, try to get under it and pull it out. I mean, it's held in there by friction. That's the only thing that's holding it in. So these brew head gaskets, if you've watched any of our other videos, they can be a little bit of a pain to install and remove for that matter. And it's, you know, you just kind of have to get creative with it. Elbow grease is involved. You know, always takes a little bit of time, but sometimes a good set of awls will be your best friend, as well as a flathead screwdriver. I usually always use a combination of both tools when I'm removing brew head gaskets. Okay, so right now I have this awl that's got a little bit of a right angle to it, and I'm able to get under the gasket here pretty easily, actually. That was really surprising. So I'm gonna get another one. Get it right there. Now I'm really under the gasket. And I'm going to get my, my flathead screwdriver ready here. The other thing is the channels for your portafilter ears is a good place to focus because you have a little more room there. As you can see, that's right where I started. So that's a good place to start in terms of getting your brew head gasket out. Okay, the hardest part of this is now behind me. There we go. So now I'm just going to pull this guy free. Now I don't have a vacuum here. You at home, if you have a vacuum with like a small attachment for the end of your hose, please feel free to use that when you're doing this. What I'm going to do right now, since this is a lot of coffee in the brew head, I'm kind of surprised. I'm going to actually flip this over to get a lot of that coffee out, and then I'll give it a wipe down to get the remainder of it out. It's kind of buckled at the end here. Look at that. So that's really in there. Okay, so I'm just going to flip this over real quick and then flip it right back to get these coffee grounds out of here. I'm going to do it over here a little bit. As you can see, a lot of coffee just came out of there. And then I'm going to use my little towel here. Try to get all these coffee grounds out of here. Even like a little air compressor or one of those air duster things would probably be really helpful as well. Anything like that in your house, I'm going to give it a... There we go. Pretty much got all that out. All right, now we're ready to reinstall those parts. So we got our brew head gasket, which is what we should do first. I've always found that if you can kind of get into those portafilter ears by folding it, that can really help you out. It's really easy if you just kind of put it in like this, and then you just work your way around. So I almost got this all the way lined up. And now we can just start pushing it down. Flathead works really well. Or the other end of your awl. You don't want to hurt this one because this is the one you're going to be using, obviously. What we'll do once we get this all the way in, so we'll actually use our portafilter to kind of get the gasket seated properly all the way. So you kind of just do this right now to get it in place. Looks like I really got it in place. And then with the machine just like this, like I said, we're going to use our portafilter and turn it just to ensure. There we go. So I know we're all set here. That's perfect. it's going farther over because the rest of our brew head is not in yet. Okay, so the next one is our screen seal here. And this one's a lot easier to install. Just get it around there. There's a nice easy groove for it. The one thing about these is there is a seam, and if you put any sort of twist or torque, it won't want to sit in there. So you got to put it straight on. As you can see, it has a tendency to want to come out. And that's because I'm not putting it in straight. So you just want to focus on not putting any sort of twist or turn in the gasket itself. It doesn't have to stay there that long because you're going to put the Teflon shower head over it. And sometimes you have to do them both at the same time. Have to get this in place and then put the Teflon shower head over it. And then we'll hold it in place. So as you can see, this one isn't wanting to stay in place. So what we'll do is put it there, and then after we take our Teflon shower head out of the Cafiza, there we go, I finally got it. That will hold it in place. So we're not too worried about that right now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is take our stuff out of the Cafiza, and I'm just gonna rinse it really quick in the water right here. As you can see, just soaking it a little bit does a lot. This water turned pretty gross pretty quick. Do a quick little rinse here in some warm water, wipe it off. We'll be good to go. There's that one in our basket. There we go. Put that back in our portafilter in a sec. Okay. Now it's time for our Teflon shower head to go back on. What I'm going to do here is make this a little easier, and I'm just going to do this all in one step. Here's our new screen and our new screw. Instead of trying to line up all these things separately, I'm just going to do it all right now. I'm going to start threading this through the diffuser just to keep everything all in line, so we only have to do this once instead of 3 separate times. So that's how we're going to do that right there. All right, and now what we're going to do is line this up. I'm going to bring the screwdriver through up top, put this right down in the center here. And now we're doing good. Keep on screwing here. This shower screen screws so long because it has so much to go through. You don't have to tighten it too much. Just kind of finger tighten, because just like any brew head, it's going to get hot, cold, and they have a tendency to really stick in there. I'm going to do another portafilter test just like we did before. Make sure everything's sitting right. We're doing good. Everything's sitting pretty. Let's put the basket back in here and do it again too. It's just easy to do this stuff when the machine's upside down, so then you don't have to do it again. Yeah, we're doing really good. And that is pretty much the entirety of the tune-up kit. Let's turn the machine back over and just take a look at it. Get those out of the way there. All right. There we go. All right. Let's get everything back here. Put our portafilter on and see how it looks. All right. There we go. We're doing good. Okay, so that is the entire tune-up kit right there. Things that you'll notice with your Livietta to let you know, a good indicator to let you know that you need a tune-up kit would be if you're noticing water and or coffee coming over the top edge when you're pulling a shot instead of the spouts, and that's actually this failing. When that happens, your brew head gasket is failing, and the seal between the top edge of your portafilter and the brew head gasket is no longer working. That's one indicator. Other things would be just, you know, your coffee generally tastes off because your basket and your screen, maybe both, There's just a lot of coffee residue there, so you're not able to taste the difference between blends. Or just maybe if you're noticing your pump is working harder when you're trying to pull a shot. And that's just because your pump actually has more to work through with that resistance in the screen and the basket. But that's the whole tune-up kit. It's really helpful for your machine. Good luck, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call here at Seattle Coffee Gear. Thank you.